to recommend any fan that wanted to watch WrestleMania and they're like, Nate, you watch a lot of wrestling. Is there a match in WrestleMania 2 that I should be looking for instead of watching 3 hours of this pay per view?
There were two matches that I have listed that I thought were the best matches of the night.
Okay.
But as an all in that scenario, I would tell the fan to skip WrestleMania 2 all in all. Um, but but of if you're just watching, you're stuck with no other WrestleManias on earth, you're on a desert island and that's the only DVD you have,
Oh no.
right? And you want to skip to the best, I voted for two of them. One is obviously Steamboat because
Okay.
Steamboat can carry anybody. That's going to be a great match just because he's in it. Period.
Okay.
And the other one, I thought Dream Team Bulldogs
Okay. Yeah.
was the
I
other highlight.
I definitely agree with that. I actually have that one as one of my matches that
Yeah,
was a highlight of this one. And actually, the other one that I thought was a good one was the other tag match that we ended up getting here too, with the Funks
yeah.
and Tito Santana and the Junkyard Dog.
Yeah, that
No,
was pretty decent.
that was good. I just kept feeling it could have been better
Oh, it definitely could have
because
been
I know the
better, but
talent that's in the ring, and I felt like, and maybe that's why I felt this way because I know what they could have produced,
yeah,
and and I don't think they
exactly.
displayed
But
their potential.
yeah, but for me, that's exactly it. It's like I knew what they were capable of. Eventually, they find like what's selling and what the audience is buying, and they get more into the detail, or the faces
Yeah,
are winning and the heels are kind of doing like their little backstabbing, cheating, things like that at the time. And yeah, JYD was a bit washed,
that's
and it's
one
like
word for it.
yeah, I mean, I did find out that he probably uh was probably on some type of enhancements
Yeah,
or that might have been hindering his ring performance. But either way, like that those two matches seem not cohesive, but they seem more better. Like the talent was
yeah.
better,
Well,
and they seem to have gelled better. Like the storytelling, like you actually got who was a heel and who was the face, and they
right.
actually lived those personalities, and the ring psychology or the match psychology was consistent throughout. You weren't like confused or anything like that. Where you knew who the audience would be rooting for, why they were rooting for, and at the end of that second tag match, the heels win and they win in a very dastardly way, and it's not only making the faces look good, but it's also making the heels look good at the same time.
Well, it also set up for the next match where Hogan comes out higher. It makes that pop even bigger because now you're down from watching the heels match. So they
Yeah.
started figuring out the storytelling
Hmm.
in that too.
Yeah, to ride
And
momentum from one match to the other.
right, and then they also, I mean, come WrestleMania 3, they got a better taste for the pageantry and
Hmm.
how to bring that involved more. And because that's come through when they had the ring cart coming down. I don't want to spoil anything for Maria. But by the way, Maria, I should have said this at the beginning of this stream. You are the star of this whole thing.
Why?
You know,
Why?
because this is all about you.
Yeah,
You haven't
Oh,
seen
wow.
these.
About me learning?
This is
yeah.
yeah. You're the one that's makes it interesting. Me and Carlos could talk about WrestleMania all day and it'd be boring unless you were involved.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Because you're the one that it's like has the new reaction, has the new and that's so
Fresh eye. Yeah,
Yeah,
and
everybody
you
at
get
home,
the
give it
fresh
up to Maria
eyes.
real quick.
Yeah, and then we have to pretty much guide you through it
Yeah,
and be like, "This is probably why this went." And you may not like why so and so won or why so and so lost, but it ends up either paying off here or it builds up further down the line because of this, and this ends up happening.
or
right.
between WrestleManias, all
Yeah,
this happened.
yeah.
I think the
Yeah,
match The 2 matches that I like for this WrestleMania 2 are Junkyard Dog and Tito.
Mhm.
And then watching Moolah, like that quick one,
Oh, okay.
even though it wasn't like a super important match, it was just
Oh,
quick.
okay, that's a shocker.
It
Seeing women
kind of was in the
wrestling.
grand scheme because,
Yeah.
like we were saying, it came off that original screw job, and she was still playing up that angle. And
Mhm.
this was like the last women's championship match until like until years later, like years and years later. Also, this was the only steel cage match in WrestleMania history until like WrestleMania 28.
Wow.
Oh, I did not know that.
That's a
Yeah, something like that.
long
No, sorry,
time.
sorry, WrestleMania 38. There it is. It's
I
in
mean,
my
that's
notes.
an even longer
Oh,
time,
okay.
right?
Yeah, because
Yeah,
that's like 2 years from,
that
like
was
in
just a couple years
2020,
ago.
That is so
Yeah,
crazy.
yeah. There was no
2020
other steel cage matches except
to
for this
2020,
one
21.
until
Yeah.
WrestleMania 38. Yeah.
Is there a reason why, or is it just because
No,
it was
it's just
done
like
once?
maybe a story didn't warrant it
Well,
or
so they were kind of gimmicky, right?
Okay.
Steel cage matches back then were more like for like, oh well, they've had all these matches. Well, now we're going to put them in a steel
Mhm.
cage, and it was something kind of transition to like something else because it just
Yeah.
seemed like it was a tougher thing. Then later they started using, well, if there's a lot of interference, we're going to use a steel cage so no one else can interfere.
Mhm.
And an event like WrestleMania, you they started having them as like finite ends to feuds or
Yeah.
culminations, so to speak. So a steel cage didn't really fit into a lot of that. They're more of like a build up to storytelling because you wanted like a definitive winner, and a lot of times with steel cages, there's other ways to win,
Mhm.
and
Which we
that
do
is it
see a
doesn't
couple of
seem
times.
like yeah, which doesn't seem like a clean win
Mhm.
all over. You want to see your guy pin them to the mat, 1, 2, 3.